Hey everybody, and welcome back to some more Feed the Beast Unstable. In today's episode, I want to start working with a couple of mods that I think might be just a little bit overpowered, and by just a little bit, I of course mean kinda crazy overpowered. But before we get into those, there are a couple of loose ends from the last episode that we do need to tie up before we can move on. The first one being in here, the builder. We have the shape card, and people in the comment section did point out that I left it on hollow, which means right now the big 128 by 128 by 70 cube is only going to mine kind of the outer edge of that instead of mining the entirety of the cube. You'll see right now it's currently going to mine 67,000 blocks, which is a lot, but if we switch it from hollow to solid, it's going to mine over 1 million blocks because it's going to mine every single block inside of the cube, not just the outer edge of the cube. So that is all good. We can go ahead, turn that back on, get that to start mining stuff once again. And then if we head on back through to the overworld, we of course have to get all of those ores, all of those gems to the correct place. Real quick, actually, before I do, another thing that people did point out is that if we switch on the Onyx mode right here at the bottom, we should stop getting things like the slate cobblestone, maybe the basalt cobblestone. Essentially anything with cobblestone in it should not be mined up. Anything with dirt in it shouldn't be mined up. Any type of gravel shouldn't be mined up. And so if we throw that back in and try again, hopefully we won't get any more of this, and hopefully we'll get kind of just more of the good stuff that we're really after from our quarry right there. But now that is taken care of, we do of course have to get all of those ores and all of those gems to the correct place. And the first step in doing that is to import all of the items from the item module right here and pull those in to our simple storage network. So if we quickly grab one more piece of network cable, I'm not quite sure why typing in cable doesn't work. You have to type in network. For whatever reason, it doesn't register the second half of the name there, but nevertheless, boom, that should then start pulling everything, hopefully from in here into the system. It is fantastic. Right now, you'll notice it is fairly slow. We can make that a bit faster using the speed and also stack upgrades. Let me go to simple storage network. Here we go. So there is a stack upgrade and a speed upgrade. The stack upgrade makes it so that it will import a whole stack of items at a time as opposed to, one or two items at a time. And the speed upgrade, as you can probably guess, will move just items faster. So if you've got a speed and a stack upgrade in there, it will start to move stacks quite quickly. And real quick, let me check how difficult those are to make. Hopefully they are not too bad. They don't appear to be. We've got quite a bit of redstone. We also, thankfully, have a good amount of blaze powder as well. And so I think for the time being, one stack upgrade will hopefully be enough to kind of pull everything out here. Of course, now I did forget that you cannot do this with regular import cable. You have to upgrade these to, I believe they're called filtered import cable. Yeah, these ones right here, which are fairly easy to make. It's for import cable and a regular old Minecraft barrel, which of course does require some regular old planks, which Simple Storage Networks, for whatever reason, does not like to shift click in. But nevertheless, that is a filtered import cable. And if we throw that down exactly where the old one was, we should now be able to open this up, put in our stack upgrade, and we should hopefully see items moving out of here much faster. Yeah, you can see now, instead of just pulling one item out, it pulls out like the entirety of that first stack there. And if we were to take this just a little bit further and put in a couple of speed upgrades, which again, thankfully not too difficult. How much redstone do we have? We've got 54. I'm really hoping we do get a little bit more redstone kind of coming in from our quarry fairly soon here, because 54 is not a huge amount. But if we do something like this, again, we should see items coming in even faster than they were before. Now, this does lead us to a future problem, and that problem is that we don't have a ton of space in our network right now, in our storage drawers and in our golden crates, to hold all of the items that are coming from our quarry. You'll see already we're starting to fill up these golden crates here with slated cobblestone. The storage drawer is already completely full. And so one thing that we are going to have to do here is either start deleting all of the excess slates or upgrade our storage drawers to hold more. Even if we do upgrade them to hold more, eventually they are going to get deleted. Let me go check real quick. I do want to just quickly see if that Ore Dictionary did actually do what I wanted it to do. I think it might have. I think the slate cobblestone that's coming through is probably just residual cobblestone from earlier on. But essentially, what we can do here is we can put some void upgrades into our storage drawers so that essentially, once a storage drawer is full, it will then delete any excess items that are put into that storage drawer. So if we get to 512 slate cobblestone. Any excess slate that tries to go in there will be deleted. The one problem with the void upgrade is that it requires 8 obsidian per void upgrade, and if we wanted to upgrade all of our drawers, that would require quite a large amount of obsidian, which as of right now, we don't really have an easy way to get a large amount of. But that is a problem that is fairly easily solved. So let's go ahead and sleep to skip through to the daytime. And once that is done, what we can do is we can head on through, and I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to temporarily tear down our nether portal, because the thing that I'm going to do here is hopefully going to net us more obsidian than we put into it. So our nether portal, of course, is made of 10 obsidian. I think we only need 8 for this process, but one of the first slightly overpowered mods that we're going to work with in today's episode is a mod that we've actually already worked with, but it's a different part of that mod. The mod we're going to work with is the MC Furnace mod, the same mod that added the already fairly overpowered furnace that we have, the one that will double any single item that we put in there into 2 outputs. And this mod, as it turns out, actually adds what are called generators. If we go to MC Furnace here, it adds these 4 tiers of generators. There's a cobblestone generator or a basic generator, and then an iron, gold, and diamond generator. And the way that these work, if we come over to our request table and make the first tier, which is ridiculously easy to make, by the way, it's 8 cobblestone and 1 glass, which is just insanely cheap. The way this works is you put it down. It does not require any power whatsoever, which again, I think is kind of insane, but all you have to do is put in one of these cards, and these cards vary wildly from like wood to a bunch of ores. You can put diamond ore in there. You can put cobblestone in there if you want to get cobblestone. And what we're going to go with is we're going to go with the item.mcfurnace.extractor_card_3, aka the obsidian card. And to make this, we need 8 obsidian and 1 empty map. The empty map, of course, being made with paper and a compass. So we do need at least 1 more redstone. Thankfully, we still have some of that. I'm not quite sure how much sugarcane we've got, but our sugarcane farm outside is still doing fairly well. How much sugarcane do we have? A fair amount, actually, 43. Nice. And then once we have that, we can, of course, go ahead and make our map, make ourselves a extractor. And then once you have that, what you've essentially done is turned 8 obsidian and some paper and iron and redstone into 32 obsidian, because we can now take this obsidian card, we can put it into the generator, and slowly but surely, that generator is going to turn that obsidian card into 32 obsidian. And so that's kind of crazy. You can do that with any of these items. For example, if you have 8 diamonds, you can craft 8 diamonds with, once again, the empty map, and you will get 32 diamond ore, which you can then put through the crusher and then smelt to double it twice. You can double it and then double it again and end up with like 2 stacks of diamonds from the 8 diamonds that you started with. That's a crazy amount of diamonds to get for essentially nothing. That's just, you just put the block down and it's done. This was 8 cobblestone and 1 glass. That's all it took. And the higher tiers are much like the higher tiers from the furnaces. If you go to the iron tier, it's essentially the same but faster. If you go to the gold tier, it's even faster, but it also doubles the output. So instead of getting 32 items, you would get 64. And again, if we go with an example like iron ore, you can take 8 iron ore with the map, craft that up, and then put it into a gold or diamond generator. That will get you 64 iron ore, which you can then crush into 2 stacks of iron ore dust, which you can then smelt using the doubling furnace into 4 stacks of iron. So you can turn 8 iron ingots into 4 stacks of iron by crafting it with an empty map and putting it into a generator. Kind of crazy, but the downside, especially with this first tier, is that it is fairly slow. Now, that is something, thankfully, that we can fix with the second overpowered mod that we're going to work with in today's episode, and that is the Torturino mod. It adds 3 items, the Torturino, compressed Torturino, and double compressed Torturino. Pretty simple mod. The first one here is 4 clocks and 1 torch. Pretty simple stuff. Let's go ahead and make 4 clocks and craft that up with, hopefully, a torch that we already have. 1, 2, 3, 4. And essentially what this does is it accelerates the tick time, which for those who don't know is just the amount of time in Minecraft. It accelerates the speed at which ticks happen, and thus makes things go faster. So, for example, if we come back over here and we go and try and make another _3 card, aka the Obsidian card, which once again, hopefully should not be too difficult. I am going to go ahead and craft up all of my sugarcane into paper, just to make my life a little easier here. We are starting to run out of storage space right now because all of the crates and whatnot are full, so we definitely do need to work on that in just a second here. But before that, let's do this. And then once again, we can put this in here, but this time, before we do it, we're going to put down a Torturino. And with this, all you have to do is right click, and then you can set the speed, the X range, the Z range, and the Y range. We'll set this to maybe like 3 by 3 by 3. I guess for now, that doesn't really matter too much. And then we can set the speed anywhere from 100% all the way up to 400%, essentially making this 4 times faster. Again, still not requiring any kind of power whatsoever. So by default, this is the default speed, although that might be 4 times speed. I'm actually not sure. But there you go. That's even faster. Pretty crazy stuff. So what we can do now, though, we don't need this much more obsidian yet, but what we can do is we can take that one step further, of course, and we could maybe look at maybe getting a compressed torch arena or maybe even a double compressed torch arena. Now, to do that, we would need a lot of clocks, and the clocks, of course, require gold, and right now we do not have a ton of gold. But, of course, what we can do is go ahead and type in card, grab ourselves a gold card. Once again, if we craft up another empty map, and we craft that with some golden ingots here, we can take that, we can throw that into here, put down our torch arena, make that nice and fast. There we go. Another thing that I did do between episodes is I ran a wire from Silent Mechanisms all the way from our crusher and our alloy smelter down through along the floor. I think you can actually see kind of where I've dug it over here. Yeah, we'll fill this in just a second, but that runs all the way around, all the way over, and connects up to our coal generators that are over by the tree farm, just to make sure that we don't have to keep pumping coal into like a local generator. What we can do instead is hook all of our machines up to the central power source over underneath our tree farm, and then therefore not have to worry about continually providing the crusher here with redstone flux. And so now if we grab the gold ore and the torch arena, we can come on over, we can put the gold ore in like so. We can then of course put the torch arena down like that. Once again, increase the speed and the range, and that's going to go ahead and make the crusher itself even faster. And if we make the range big enough, it's also going to make the gold furnace here, which is already fairly fast, even faster. And so what I'm going to do here, guys, is real quick, I am going to go away. I'm going to do this a few more times to get quite a bit of gold, and I'm going to see if we can get enough clocks to make ourselves a compressed torch arena. Okay, so a little while later, we now have 9 torch arenas. We can craft these up into 1 compressed torch arena, and as you can probably guess, if we throw this down, it is essentially the same as the normal torch arena, but we can now go all the way up to 3,600%. Now, I don't know if we're really going to be able to show it off on this because it's almost done, but if we bump the range up here, yeah, you'll see it was so fast that we didn't even see it happen. So what we will do here is I'm going to throw these in like so, because we are pretty low on redstone now, but if we come back over and we make another one for iron, because although we do 159 iron, it would be nicer to get yet more iron. So iron is once again a compass, and then surround that compass with paper. The reason I'm doing it in here is because the storage request table right now is a little bit full, but if we do this, we can get one of these, and then now if we put the iron ore card into here, boom, you can see that this thing is ridiculously fast, and that's with just using the regular basic generator. We can still take this one step further, of course, and also we can, of course, do the same thing we did before. We can put this over here, make this super fast, bump up its range. You'll see the power actually kind of starts to tank here because we're not producing enough power to keep up with how fast this machine is going, but much like with just making the machine faster, you can make really anything you like faster with these torches. For example, if we wanted to, we could come on over to our trusty tree farm over here and put down one of these guys somewhere near the middle, preferably. Let's see if we can get, you know what, let's do it here. If we put this down and we do this and this, we should see all of these hopefully start to grow. There you go. All of these trees growing so much faster than they would normally. It's pretty crazy. And you can also, once again, of course, do the same thing with the coal generators downstairs. If we head down to the basement here, if we had a second torch arena, we could put one down full time kind of in this area. And I think these generators were kind of in the range of the previous torch that we put down. But for example, you'll see right now, this one is slowly but surely gaining on redstone flux. If we put down our torch and we speed that up, you'll see that very quickly, this coal generator here fills up with redstone flux. It does, of course, burn through the charcoal, but we've got 2,000 charcoal ready and waiting to be used. And so really, these things are just crazy powerful. Maybe a bit too powerful in their current state, especially given how easy they are to make, and especially given that the generators here don't require any kind of redstone flux whatsoever. I guess real quick, let's go ahead and push this one step further, shall we? Let's see about making ourselves one of these iron generators, which is, of course, essentially the same thing, but faster. And then we might even actually, at this point, have enough gold. How much gold do we have? Oh no, of course, we used all of our gold on making the compressed torch arena. But what we can do, of course, is throw down our generator, grab ourselves another gold card, and then put that gold card into here with the super fast compressed torch, and boom, we have got even more gold ore. Beautiful. So I'm probably, we could, if we wanted to, automate this, right? We can automate the crafting of compasses, we could automate the sugarcane farm, we could automate the making of the enchanted map, and therefore automate the making of the cards, and then we could make, you know, however many cards there are, we could make that many generators, and we could set up a big system that essentially provides unlimited resources for free, right? And it's super fast because of the tortuinas. I'm not going to do that, mostly because I think it kind of spoils the fun a little bit. Like, if we just have every resource imaginable so quickly, really, I just want to use this for Obsidian, because Obsidian is a bit of a pain in the backside to get normally. You have to go mining for it. There's not an easy way for us to get an automated supply of it, at least not that I know of just yet. And so for now, I think we might potentially set up an unlimited like obsidian generator, but what I'm probably not going to do is set up like unlimited iron, redstone, gold, diamond, lapis, emerald, all of those things, because it kind of null and voids the point of playing the pack if you can just essentially enter creative mode through having infinite of all of the major resources. And so for now, we'll go ahead and throw, I was going to say throw this stuff back in here. We can't, because of course the initial problem comes back around at last, and that is the problem of not having any void upgrades. So now that we actually have a good amount of obsidian, let's see if we can't make at least 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 void upgrades here. And we could probably also do with a couple of void upgrades for our tree farm as well. Now, it used to be in previous versions of storage drawers that you could shift right click upgrades onto a drawer or right click them onto a drawer. This doesn't seem to be working, but I think we can shift right click from far enough away and then put the void upgrade in, and that should work just fine. So now, if we go and grab all of the cobblestone, the slate cobblestone that we have over here, and we double right click onto this bottom right hand slot, it'll take all of that slate cobblestone, and because there's a void upgrade in there, it's just going to delete all of that cobblestone, which is exactly what we want. Now, I do think that there's a possibility that we still run into a problem here, because in the current version of storage drawers, there isn't, the current version of simple storage networks, there's no way to prioritize link cables. And this is probably best shown over by the tree farm. So right now we have got link cables all over the base that essentially tell our simple storage network that you can put things into here. So right now there's a link cable that tells our simple storage network that you can put coal into this drawer controller, or wood, or sticks, or apples, or saplings. The problem is that in the current version of simple storage networks, we can't right click on the link cable, and thus we can't set the priority of the link cable, which means that when we import charcoal from these furnaces, the charcoal doesn't know where to go. It knows that it can go here, but at the same time, it also knows that it can go over into our crates, our golden crates in our base. And so what's happening right now is we're making a bunch of charcoal from our tree farm, and that charcoal is going everywhere. You'll see there's some in here. If we look in some of these other drawers, there's some in here. We can't tell our system, at least I don't know necessarily of a way to tell our system where to put that charcoal just yet, because there's no priority system in place. And so I think something similar is going to happen with our slate cobblestone, where it can put it into the drawer controller, which is under here, and thus put it into our storage drawers, but at the same time, it can also just put them into these crates. You know, it's going to keep putting random little bits in here, despite there being a drawer specifically for that item. And so I think really the only way around that is to split our simple storage network up into more smaller sub-storage networks. So for example, if we were to disconnect the tree farm storage network and I'm going to sleep real quick because I don't want to die here. But if we were to put down another network master over by the tree farm area, what we could do is we could have the tree farm network kind of work in and of itself, because for the most part, this doesn't need to be connected to the main network. Everything here is kind of self-sufficient. What we would have to do then is put more link cables on the back of these storage drawers and connect those back up to the main network so that the main network could access these, but these furnaces couldn't access the main network. I hope that makes sense. I feel like I rambled a little bit there, but essentially what we want to make sure is that the coal that comes from here cannot go into our crates. The only way we can do that is by separating these into two networks and having these be accessible to both networks via two link cable. You know, we put another link cable on the back of this, and then we connect that to the main network. Hopefully that will work. Unfortunately, I can't show you how this is going to work because we don't have enough diamonds to make a second network master. We'll work on that, I think, in the next episode, hopefully, by which time we will have quite a lot of resources coming through from our quarry. But for now, what I'm going to do is I'm quickly going to go away and make myself at least 11 more void upgrades. Before I do that though, there is one more thing I want to get done in today's episode, and that is that I would like to automate the process of processing ores, because right now, as you'll see, a bunch of the space here is being taken up by bauxite, iron, lead, etc. And of course, we want all of those ores to be put into the grinder and then through to the furnace and then back into the system in their ingot form. And thankfully for that, all we have to do is grab some export cable. I think we will need actually just the one, yeah, that should be fine. And then also some import cable. And we might want to go actually with the faster one here, or the one that we can make faster in the future. And so I think all I'm going to do here is probably put our export cable on the back. Can I jump this? No, I can't. That's fine. We'll break out for now. All I'm going to do is I'm going to put the export cable, I think, here, just because the other sides are all full. And then we'll connect that around to our main network cable from the other side, and then we're also going to have an import cable on the bottom of the gold furnace, and that should be pretty much good to go at that point. So we'll do this here. We don't need this or this anymore, and I'm going to replace that because once again it didn't connect properly, but there we go. And then now all we need to do is essentially run the cable, the network cable that is, down, around, down, and around, and then run that across to the main network line. Nice. At that point, we should then be able to go and grab some oakwood panel, cover all of this up, and I think we're good to go. We do, of course, have to actually specify what we want to export to our crusher here, but that should not be too difficult for us to do. If we just dump out some of our inventory, I guess, for now into here to free up a little bit of space, all I'm going to do is quickly see which ores we have. So if I type in ore, hopefully it comes up with pretty much all of them. And then all we're going to do is put all of these into the filter slot for the export bus. So once again, out here, this guy, we want to whitelist lead, silver, tin, I think. Oh no, tin and silver were the wrong way around there. We also have another silver, uranium, iron, copper, other copper, zinc, and bauxite. Now, I think there might be more to come in the future, and hopefully that does work, actually. Let me put these back, I guess, and see if that does actually start to export them. It does, nice. Once again, we can put upgrades in here, stack upgrades, speed upgrades to make this faster. And you'll see here, this one does have a priority system. So with the export cables, you can prioritize which export cable you want to go to first. Hopefully in future versions of the mod, there will be priorities for link cable as well. So you can specify where things go on that front. But for now though, I'm also going to throw down our Torturino right about here. And we're going to make that, of course, just maybe not crazy fast, because I don't know if we have the power to make it crazy fast, but we can stick with just kind of fast, right? We should also take this out, and hopefully... Oh my, it's so fast. Hopefully that is working. That's not working because that's full. Okay, that could be an issue. We could push this up by one and have like a buffer at the top here, because that is definitely an issue. And you'll see that right now the import bus is nowhere near fast enough to pull all those items in. You know what? Let's make a nice big Obsidian Crate, just because we can. There we go. And then we'll throw that down here. This should never get full, but it should be able to hold pretty much as much buffer as we're going to have for smelting ores. And then finally, I think we'll do the same thing that we've done for the crusher, and that is that we'll grab an export cable, which requires a piston, which requires wood, which our simple storage network refuses to work with. It's really holding a grudge against the wood there. But now if we put this on the backside, we can tell our system to export charcoal to the gold furnace, much like it exports charcoal to our generators. So boom, and my network cable is in the system. Nope, my network cable is potentially in that crate right there. Nope, we are just out of network cable. All right, that is thankfully a simple fix. But essentially, this episode, I guess, kind of served as more of a showcase for some of the OP mods, and a way that you can break things in the pack and get just crazy amounts of stuff crazy easily if you want to. Do we have any charcoal in here? We do indeed. We'll probably put these Torturinos to good use in the future. Does that work? It does work. Nice. Yeah, look at that. There we go. There we go. Nice. And we could definitely do with some stack and speed upgrades on the bottom of that import bus as well to make that a little bit faster. But for now, I think this system is kind of fine. As I mentioned, real quick, I'm going to go away. I'm going to try and make void upgrades for all of these storage drawers, and I'll be back in a second. And a good deal of obsidian later, we now have 14 void upgrades, and so we should hopefully be able to put all of these in. It is going to be a little bit tedious because we have to open up each one of these individually to actually put the void upgrade in here, but it should allow us in the future to not have to worry about getting too many of any of these items. We probably should look into putting some regular old storage upgrades into these, because right now they can only hold 512 of each item, and although we don't really want more than 512 of certain items, like slate cobblestone, we could probably do with, more than 512 iron, and so going forward, it might be a good idea to look into getting some of the other upgrades, like the iron, gold, diamond, emerald upgrades, which increase the amount of storage that the drawer has, thus increasing the number of items we can hold before we start deleting them forever into the void. Now, real quick, one of the last things that I do want to try here before we head away, let me check up on our builder. It is doing okay, but doesn't have enough power. So I'm hoping that these guys over here are still getting charcoal being fed to them on a regular basis. They kind of are. This one is not, because it's, for whatever reason, it's become disconnected there. I've been told by the comment section that if I break this and then replace it, if I just put it down like onto it, then that will connect. It did indeed. Nice. We might have to do that regularly. I feel like whenever I relog, it might, mess up the connection again. But for now, I think that should work. Maybe. I don't see it putting charcoal in there, so also maybe not. I also can't help but notice that both of these are full on redstone flux. How is the... But this guy is not. I might have done this wrong, actually. I think I did say in the last episode that orange was input. I think blue is output, which I think people did call me on, and then orange is input. Is that right? That's right. Okay, so all of that power is being transferred nice and quickly through to the energy module. If we don't die here, which would be preferable to dying here, we are a little low on HP, although I do have some berries with me. That was not intended. Also, I didn't know we had a mine shaft here. We should probably explore that at some point. All I wanted to test before we fell victim to our void here is oh my goodness, this axe is so slow. It's quite powerful though. All I wanted to test is what happens if we put down the Torturino. Also an Enderman. No, please. I need some more cobblestone. This is where the slate cobblestone is actually going to save me. As long as I don't get shot down again. Let's not die here. We're fine. We're fine. I should really just cover this up so that dying here is not an option. All I wanted to test is if we throw down our torch and speed up the speed of these coal generators, does that make our quarry over in the mining dimension significantly faster? This says not enough power. Hopefully power is coming through. It is, but maybe not fast enough? I wonder if there's a limit on how fast the redstone flux can be transferred through the energy module. Because right now, it definitely seems like this is not coming through at a quick pace. If we do that, does that speed it up any? It seems the answer is still no. We are getting more items through, like it is going quite quickly. We are definitely still getting slate cobblestone though, which is not ideal. So maybe the Audict setting is still a work in progress. Or maybe the slate cobble just doesn't register as cobblestone in this pack. But nevertheless, I think that is a little bit faster. I don't know if this is helping at all, but for now, I think this is okay. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect this for the time being. We might have to think of a different way of getting power through if the portal can only transfer so much RF per tick, because you'll see both of these are full, and yet it's the energy module that's kind of limiting how fast energy can go through. I guess what we could try doing in the future is putting down yet more energy modules, especially if the limiting factor is how fast the energy module can transfer redstone flux. Having more of those on both ends of the portal would allow us to transfer even more. But for now, guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap up today's episode there. We played around with some pretty overpowered mods with these generators and the super fast torches. Going forward, we probably will use the torches a bit more. I might use those to speed up our tree farm if we need more power. I'm almost certainly going to use them over here to make our processing faster, because this is just nice to have. And we're probably not going to use the generators too much unless we find ourselves in a bit of a pinch. But next time I'm going to come back, we're going to work on splitting our simple storage network up into 3 smaller simple storage networks to try and mitigate some of the overflow that's happening with, slate cobblestone and with charcoal. And then on top of that, I also want to start working on our very first mob spawner. that's not the Blaze spawner. I want to start working on, hopefully, a Cursed Earth mob spawner in the next episode to get us a large amount of a certain resource. But for now, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up today's episode of FTB Unstable there. As always, guys, if you did enjoy the video and you want to see more FTB Unstable in the future, be sure to go ahead and hit that like button. It really does help out a lot. Leave a comment down below, subscribe if you're new here to get notified as soon as new videos go out. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.